All right, so I've just made it out to the fishing spot. As you guys can see, we had a little snowstorm last night. Still doing a little wintry mix out here. And I brought 3 baits for today's mission. We've got the trusty Ned rig here. We've got a lipless crank, and we got a jig and a trailer. We're gonna see if we can get out there and cut some fish in the snow. Alright guys, so I just got out onto the water and it's currently snowing pretty hard out here. We got about 2 inches of snow last night, but got some open water out on this pond. Gonna throw this Ned rig around a little bit to start, see if we can get on some fish. Alright, so my idea here is that I'm gonna make somewhat quick trips around this pond, and every time I get back around I'm gonna switch baits. So I just fished the Ned rig for about 25 minutes, covered the whole pond as best I could, and now I'm switching to this lipless crankbait. I'm just gonna roll real slowly across the bottom, knock it off rocks, knock it off anything, see if I can get a bite. Got one. Got one. On the lipless. Whew. Literally right while it was falling down, this fish bit. I didn't even move it one time. I just cast it right in there. And as it was falling, the fish bit on it. It's got him on his upland. There we go. Catching fish in a snowstorm. He's got a little gold on his forehead there, but man, just love catching fish out here in the snow. Let him go. All right, so how I caught that last fish was I just literally pitched this lipless right into that fountain, and I didn't even reel one time. As that bait was falling down, that fish just gobbled it up. And the way I've been fishing this crankbait has been just yo-yoing it off the bottom, letting it sink, yo-yoing it off the bottom and letting it sink. And most of the time this fish will bite as that bait's falling down. And this really imitates a dying bait fish really well. And those bass are looking for an easy meal, and hopefully they just gobble it up. I got one. Got another one on the lipless crankbait. Right as it was falling. Get this guy in. Come on, stay down. A little bit better fish. Another guy on the lipless crank. It's a little bit of a better fish. Man, the crankbait was just falling, and another guy cranked on it. Nice winter bass in the middle of a snowstorm. I mean, it is literally snowing out here, and I'm catching bass. Feels great. Let this guy go. So I've caught 2 fish on this lipless crankbait so far, and both times it's been right after this lure hits the water and it's sinking down, and then I go to pull up and I just feel weight on the rod, and those fish are just on there. All right, so we're back at the pond. Just had a nice little meal at Chick-fil-A, and we're gonna start throwing around this jig, see if we can get some fish on it. All right, my hope for this jig is that any bite we get is a quality fish. This jig is a pretty big profile bait, and I'm thinking that if we get a fish on it, it could be pretty decent size. All right, so I spent about 30 minutes fishing this jig around the pond. Not a single bite, so I think I'm gonna start the rotation over again, go back to the Ned rig. Got one. Oh, this feels like a better fish. Oh man, just kidding. It's a big snag. God. All right, so I just made it back around again, and it looks like there's actually some slush forming on top of the pond right here. I don't know if you can see that, but I think I'm gonna give it one more go with the lipless crankbait and see if we can pull some more fish out. All right, I'm back with the lipless crankbait, and it's getting kind of late out here. It's probably around 4:30. It's getting pretty cold, still snowing, been snowing all day, but trying to get a couple last minute fish on this crankbait. All right guys, so I've actually just managed to get the treble hook from my lipless crankbait stuck in my shoelace. So I'm gonna be fishing this lipless crankbait with only one treble hook. So hopefully we can still hook up on one. All right guys, finishing up here for the day. It's getting dark out, it's cold, it's snowing. I've been out here for about 3 hours, and pretty successful day. Caught 2 fish in the middle of the winter time, in the middle of the snowstorm, so that's always good. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you're new around here, subscribe, and see you guys next time.